So today in this video we'll be talking about how you can pass array as a parameter in a function and how does it work. So here in this function called void change arr, void just means the return type of the function, right? And when we have return type void, that basically means we return nothing. It does sound counterintuitive, but that's how it goes. This is the only exception. There aren't any other return type that work like this. So let's get to the point. So we have this function change your arr. Now this is the function name, and here we have int arr array. So what we're basically doing is we are passing this array to this function. Now this array is defined on main, right? So this is how we would go about defining it. We have int main, and then we'll write int arr equals to, let's say, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we call the function changer arr, and here we pass arr comma for the array, right? We pass this array, the same thing, and then we also pass the size. The size of this array is 4, but let's say we only wanted to work on, let's say, 2 elements. Then what would we do? We just want to work on 2 elements. Then we would only pass 2. That's how it will work. Now what happens here is, after you run this function, while other things in C++ are mostly passed by value, this array is passed by reference, right? So when you pass by reference, what happens is in the function, you don't just get the copy of the array, you get the pointer to the real array, right? So any modification you make in this array here, right? You multiplied all the elements by 2, will be seen in this array. Like this array in itself is going to be modified by any change we make here. So even if we were to print arr I on the main function, we would get the output of 6, 8, 10, and 12, because all of this is again multiplied by 2. So that's the main concept. Arrays are passed by reference, and we also learned how pass by reference in array works and how to actually use it as a parameter. So let's take a function called arr. Firstly, we would pass the data type of the array, which is integer in this case, and let's call the array test, right? We can call it test, and then can't forget the brackets, otherwise we can't call it an array. And then we can also pass the size, right? And this is size. We can define size on main, or we can just like give a certain value. Really doesn't matter. It could, like, we can set a default value for size on main, and we can also override it during the function parameter, or just define it here. This one seems more better because our code is less redundant. We can just give the size at the time of function creation as we need. So yeah, that's how pass by reference works on an array.